Hello, my friends. Excuse me while I get set up. And there is a bird living in here, so he may squeak, or I say squawk. He gets pretty noisy. But I wanted to video record. Hold on, I'm gonna scoot up a little bit more. So this is going to be the second sock video for you guys. You should have finished the toe like I had instructed in the first video, and then I had told you to knit in whatever pattern. I just knit in stockinette until you are 2 inches away from your desired full length of your foot. Once again, sorry for the noise in the background. That would be Kiwi the bird. He's eating a peanut right now. But anyway, so I had, for the first couple times in the first video, I had said 2.5 inches, and I apologize. So if you only knit to 2.5 inches, please stop this video right now and knit, another 1/2 inch, and then come back for this video. So once again, you should have your toe done, and then knit until you are 2 inches away from your full desired length. I like mine about 9 1/4, or 9 1/4 to 9.5 inches. I try to do 9 1/4, and I think this one I got a little bit big. I was knitting while hiking, and it just, sometimes I get a little off. But I mean, if you don't stretch it out too bad, I'm actually right there. I always want to go to about 7 1/4, because like I said, 2 inches away would be my full desired length, because it takes 2 inches to create the heel gusset. So what the heel gusset is the section that we will be increasing to make it bigger for the heel. It's good for people that have what's called a large instep, where if their foot gets really, I'm trying to do it like flat so you guys can see it, if your foot comes kind of big right before the heel and then the ankle, this is a good technique to use, and it's the one I use. I feel like I have a large instep. I don't know, I've always just knit this type. So this was my original marker. I had it on this side. I did kind of bring it up a few times. But I'm going to do, and I have some other markers here. I kind of forgot to use them last time. But I'm going to indicate which, I'm going to call these each needle here, maybe a panel or something. I might refer to them as that. So like this knitting needle, we're going to call the B knitting needle. So I'm just going to stick this up here so you guys know, because we're going to be going in circles like we have. So that way you guys know which needle I'm talking about. Because technically the needles do change. And so I can't do like color-coded needles. Alright, the second one we're going to do this like star or flower, whatever you want to call this. Yellow. There's the bird. I hope he doesn't bother you guys. Okay. And then the two in the back. Let's do the turtle. He's going to be backwards if I do it that way. And yes, so it bothers me. I don't want him to be backwards. I want him to show his face because he's cute. Okay. And then this little sheep. And once again, you don't have to do this. I just figured this would be easier for me to kind of explain and for you guys to keep up with what's going on. And it sounds like there's a bug at the window over here. I am also going to drink some tea. I am drinking this wonderful Bigelow, I guess is how you pronounce it, toasted coconut almond bark tea. As I hit things and shake everything around. Okay. So once again, the B is our starting needle. Oh, actually he's not. Because I'm starting over here. Okay, so scratch that. The turtle is our first knitting needle. The sheep is our second knitting needle. This and then we're going to flip it this way. The B would be our third knitting needle, and then the star is going to be our fourth knitting needle. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, the main concept of this is that on the front two knitting needles, which are going to be the turtle and the backwards sheep, is going to be our front needles. And then, so the top of the foot. And then the B and the star are going to be the back needles, which are going to be the foot, like the bottom of the foot, okay? And what we're going to do is we're always going to just continue knitting on these needles. We're not going to change anything, so continue with whatever pattern you're doing. If you're doing some kind of lace pattern or pearl stitch, whatever it is. There's that bug. I think it's a June bug. He's going to be bothering. Yes, it is a June bug. He's going to be bothering us because I have the light. I have windows open because it's kind of nice outside. Anyway, we're always going to continue in the normal pattern on the front needles, which is turtle and sheep. But we're going to be increasing on the back two needles. We're actually going to increase on needle 3, which is the B needle, the second one in. And then increase also on the 4th needle, but the second to the last. And we're going to do this every other row until we have a total of 28 stitches on each needle. You should have like 15 or 16 depending on what size you want to do. I used to do 16, but I've kind of made it a little bit smaller, so I actually have 15 on each knitting needle. But I'm still going to do 28 stitches total on each. Okay? All right, so let's begin. Got my knitting needle. So once again, turtle and sheep, we are going to keep it the same. We're not going to change anything. If you are doing some kind of pattern, and this is what happens when you knit while hiking, things kind of don't go the way as planned. But I had a good time hiking. Unfortunately, you know, the weather finally cooled off a little bit for me to go hiking, but now it's going to be raining all week. And here in Texas, they are so lame that if the ground is a little wet, they close down the hiking trails and you can't go hiking, which I think is utterly ridiculous. I know I can drive up to Oklahoma and go hiking on their trails, so maybe this weekend I will do that. We're on the sheep one, the backwards sheep, so we are going to stay in pattern. But yeah, I've been a little depressed about being back in Texas. I shouldn't say being back in Texas. I took a little tiny trip to my home state of Wisconsin for some family stuff, and even though it was only a few days, I really enjoyed myself and got to see what life would be like if I lived there and how naturey it is and just nice in general, and a bunch of other reasons. And I've been really sad that, you know, since I have come back. Okay. So we're on B needle, which is needle 3. We are going to, and once again, if you were doing a pattern, I would have suggested only doing the pattern on the front. You don't really want some weird pattern on the bottom. You're not going to see it. Plus, it might create bumps that where your foot is being, you know, pressed up against. It might be irritating. If you did some kind of lace pattern, it's probably not going to be as strong. So you should have just done knitting on the bottom. Anyway, so needle 3, we're going to knit the first one, and then we're going to increase on the second one. And I'm going to do my usual trusty dusty increase where I'm going to knit into the stitch, but without taking this stitch off, I'm going to knit through the back. And then that creates another stitch, And it does end up looking almost like a purl stitch because it has this little bump here, just like we did with the toes. And then we're going to knit all the way across. But anyway, yeah, a couple weeks ago I was messaging with my mom, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I've told you, but I've been a little depressed since we got back to Texas. And I've really found how much I dislike being here. And she asked me, like, well, why do you not like this place? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I do know. It's a lot of small things. All right. Needle 4, we are going to knit until the last 2 stitches, and then we'll increase on the second to the last stitch. The big thing is I don't like the climate and I don't like the terrain. I am a not necessarily cold natured person, but I definitely don't like the heat. And I like forest. I like deep, thick, greenage forests. We're here, it's so hot, it's almost deserty. I mean, heck, there's cactuses. And the temperatures in the summer get up to 110 degrees. And it's not what I like. Where Wisconsin, we were in Madison, which is the capital of Wisconsin. And I know it's a really liberal town, but almost around every corner there was some kind of like walking path or nature thing. Here you don't have that, and it really, now like I said, I like to be in the nature, in nature. All right, we're at the second to the last stitch, so once again we're going to increase, and I'm going to do my trusty normal knit like normal. Do not take that stitch off, and then we're going to knit through the back, and then we can take that stitch off, creating our extra stitch with the little bump, and then knit that one. All right, we're back to needle 1, which is our turtle, and we're going to continue in pattern. Anyway, Texas, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody that's here. Everybody's different, but the people here are very nice. I've been living here since I was 7 years old. And I'm 35 now, so I've been living here most of my life, and it's not a horrible place to live. It's just, I feel like the people that absolutely love this place have never been anywhere else, and so they don't know any different. And I'm not saying there's anything horrible about Texas. It really is a decent place to live. I've survived this far, this long. It's just not me. My mom was like, well, are you planning on moving back? And she was trying to like tell me all the horrible things about Wisconsin, how it's cold. I'm like, yeah, I know it's cold in the winter, but I put it this way. It's cold for what? 4 months out of the year? I mean, really cold. 4 months out of the year, maybe somewhat cold for 2 months, and then like really nice weather for the other 6 months. Where here you have somewhat cold and nasty weather for about 3 to 4 months. Then you get about maybe a month of decent weather. Then you have, 6 months of freaking hot as hell. And then you get another month of maybe some decent weather. So I see it as you only get 2 months of decent weather, where in Wisconsin you get 6 months. So, and where they are hibernating in the winter, we're hibernating in the summer, but at least they have a longer stretch of decent weather. I don't know. This is the way I see it. I think it's my cat outside the window meowing to come in. All right, so we stayed in pattern on stitch needle 1 and 2, which is turtle and sheep. We're back to needle 3, which is our bee. Because we increased last time, we are just going to knit. because we are only going to increase every other row. Anyway, so I'm pretty sure my mom was freaking out thinking I was going to move. And granted, I was looking at housing just for shits and giggles. But I'm not planning on moving, mostly because that, you know, of the fact that my parents are here. I'm pretty close to my parents. Although I feel like they have slowly kind of not really turned away, but, you know, they have their own lives, and they are just now getting where they have a RV and they have motorcycles now, and so they're finally able to do the stuff they want to do. And I'm stuck at work because my mom's, you know, retired with disability, and my dad is not retired yet, but he doesn't work a whole bunch, so it's almost like half retirement. And so they have a lot of time to live their life, and kudos to them. You know, great, go have fun. You know, live your life. You worked hard for it. But it is kind of like, I, you know, they don't go camping on the weekends because the parks and stuff are really busy. Well, that's the only times I have off. So, or they don't take the boat out on the lake because the lake is usually busier on the weekends. Well, that's the only time I have off. And so I feel like I miss out on a lot. But once again, it's their life. It's not, you know, it's their boat, their camp gear and everything. And I live my own life. I go hiking and, you know, and camping on my own, and it's just fine. But no, Mom, I'm not moving. Mostly, and I keep telling her this, I'm too freaking tired to, excuse my yawn. Moving is a lot of energy. All right, we're back to needle 1, which is our turtle needle. So stay in whatever pattern you're doing. But yeah, moving is so much work. I would have to sell this house, buy a new house, you know, find a new job. And that's the other thing. I don't want to leave the job I have. I absolutely love the people I work with, and it would be a freaking miracle if I found another place. Sorry, I think I was splitting a stitch there. It'd be a freaking miracle if I find another place that had just as good of people. So, no, I'm not leaving. I don't know why, but tiredness just hit me all of a sudden. Are we still recording? I hope so. 17 minutes in. Wow. I'm probably not going to record this entire time because I'm just going to be doing the same thing. But I'll get you through a few rounds. Maybe I'll do like a half hour or so. We're on needle 2, which is backwards sheep needle. So knit in your pattern. I'm just sitting here going like, what do they want to listen to me talk about? All right. We're at our B, and since we only knitted last time, we are going to increase. And you can kind of tell, although this one's hard to see, the bumps down here, and you can see a little tiny V right above that bump, and so it lets us know that we did not increase last time. I sometimes find it, you know, so in case you lose track, I find it easier to tell on this side. I don't know. But see, that side makes it look like there's a bump like right there. So maybe it is this side that's easier to tell that there's a space between the bump and the stitch. There's just a little bit right here. I know, it's super hard to tell. But anyway, so just try to keep track. So we did not increase last time, so we're going to increase this time. Once again, we're going to increase the second one in. Oops. I'm sorry. Sorry, that is my cat literally lunging out the freaking window trying to get in here. She scared me. You cannot come in. No. Wow, that's like a 4 feet off the ground that she jumped. Oh, and there's the bird. I'm dying of thirst. Okay, so we are going to increase on the second one. So knit like regular, except don't take that stitch off, and then knit through the back, and then we can take it off, creating our little bump. And then knit across. I guess I'll talk about knitting. Everything's been going well. I need to do another episode of the regular show for you guys. And hold on, my ball is not cooperating. There we go. I need to do another one because I have changed a project drastically. The autumn poncho is nothing like it used to be. But I will talk about that during a regular episode. But that's pretty much all I've been working on, except getting this sock done. And then because I got to this spot on Friday during the hiking trip, and today is Tuesday. I needed something to work on because I went for another hike Saturday morning. So I picked up one of my other socks that I've been needing to work on, and worked on that, and started the increases for the heel on that one while hiking. And then at school last night, I took that pair and I finished the increases and even did the heel. And so I'm now working on the leg of that one. Okay, one more until our increase. And here you can kind of see that tiny little V that lets us know that we had knitted after that increase. So this time we increase. Should increase both sides at the same time. If you skip one, go, which I do all the time, I forget and I knit and I'm like, crap, I missed one. I just go ahead and increase one, and I do two back to back instead of, of increasing it instead of putting in a knit row, which is not horrible, but it's not the proper way to do things. All right, knit through the front, do not let the stitch fall off the needle, and then knit through the back. And then knit to the last one. And you can kind of see our little bumps are growing. We've got 2 on each side. Here's 1 and 2. And then on needle 3, we've got 1 and 2. That one's nice and easy to see. It's almost that brown color. Right before recording this, I decided to put all my sweater yarn for all the future sweaters I want to do next, starting next year, or starting whenever I finish the sweater I'm supposed to be working on, which I will pick up once I finished with the autumn poncho. So hopefully this winter I'll get that done. We're working on needle 1, which is the turtle needle, so to stay in pattern. Anyway, and so I put them all in a tote, and then I even briefly went through my wall of yarn and picked out some other yarns that I think I have enough for sweaters and added them to it. So I have, I don't know, enough to make like 7 to 10 sweaters. Really wanting to do sweaters next year. I am finding that I have an issue personally, physically personally, with knitting sweaters and bigger stuff. I'm finding that out. I found that out with the temperature blanket and the poncho I'm working on, needle 2, so we are going to stay in pattern. I think it's because it's a bigger project and it's heavier. My horrible hands that have a lot of physical issues are having issues with that. And so I'm kind of getting bummed out because I was really hoping to do a lot of sweaters next year, but what I might end up doing is only, working on sweaters here and there when I can, when my hands don't hurt as bad, because I can do this for hours and my hands don't hurt. And I'm thinking it's because it's a lighter weight project. I don't know if it's, holding it up or whatever it is that's causing the issue. But anyway, so maybe I could have like a sweater going, and when I'm not in any pain, work on the sweater. But then if I'm having some pain or need a break, then I can pick up a pair of socks or a lace weight shawl or something like that. Or maybe I can have 2 sweaters going at once. I've got some sweaters that are supposed to be fingering weight. So maybe I can work on that and then work on a bulky one when I'm feeling okay. I'm not sure. So we'll see. I just have to, with my illness, I just have to play, I kind of just have to go by what it lets me do. Okay, so we're on needle 3, which is our B needle. And you can see that we increased last time. That bump is right up against there. There is no V above that bump. It is just a bump and then the stitch that is on the needle. So we definitely increased last time. So we are not going to increase this time. We are just going to knit in our stocking knit. But so if you also have an ailment or something like that, I kind of just want to say, and to each his own, so I can't tell you what to do, but try not to be discouraged. There's some things I can do and some things I can't. Some things I can do for a long time. Some things I can only do for a brief amount of time. Sometimes I have good days and bad days. I'm actually been having some bad days the last week or so, mostly because sorry, I'm splitting a stitch here. Mostly because I worked extra hours last week at work. So I spent a lot more time at the computer typing and stuff. And so my carpal tunnel really is acting up. And so I've been taking it kind of slow on my knitting. This week I told myself I am not working that many hours. I'm working the normal amount of hours. I'm not doing overtime. I need to rest my body. I don't mind doing it every once in a while. I wasn't forced to. I just did, I had some work to do and I felt like getting it and I needed to get it done. And so I was okay with doing it, but I know I can't do it that much. And I am having some pains right now, but it's not horrible. I'm trying to be really cautious. I was actually working in the garden and trying to rebuild the cinder block wall, and only did a little bit because I didn't want to overexert myself and cause me to be in so much pain that I wasn't going to be able to do anything at all. So just kind of listen to your body. Your body will tell you what it can and can't do and what it needs. We have a bump, space between, so we increased last time, so we are going to knit this time. Okay. I'll do one more increase for you guys, and then we'll just call it at that, because really all it is just increase. Just keep doing this until you have 28 on each of those back needles. And then once you get there, then watch the next episode, which will be lesson 3. And I will walk you through the heel. I will walk you through the entire heel. Because that is something that, you need to watch the entire episode of. Because it's not like this where it's just a simple, okay, this is what you do, and you just keep doing this until a certain point. It is a little bit, but it is kind of it is probably, not the toe is the most tricky. But it is a little bit on the, trickery side where you have to watch what you're doing. All right, needle 2, which is sheepy needle. We're going to stay in pattern. Halloween's in a week. What if you guys have any plans? Although I probably won't post, Yeah, this probably won't be posted until, maybe, I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, how I'm going to post this. That's why I'm trying to keep it short. The shorter the video, the easier it is for me to post this and load it up from home as opposed to waiting for school. So that's kind of my idea. Okay, back at the B. We did not increase last time. You can see there's a little space between the little brown bump, and we've got a little bit of blue here, and then this like light blue. So we are going to increase this time. Knit one, and then do our make one. And I think there's a make one left, make one right, but I don't care. It doesn't make much of a difference. You can see that there's increases, and you can see these little bumps, and it's, you know, and I'm sure I think they look prettier on this side than the other side, so I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to do a different kind of increase on needle 4, but it doesn't bother me. And once again, you can do any kind of increase you want. I just would not do a yarn over increase because you'll end up with holes, which, I mean, they're not gonna fall apart. It just would look really weird to have these like lace holes on the side of your foot. Now, you're more welcome to do it, and maybe someday I will, but at the same time, I think if I was wearing shoes, my shoes would rub at that area, and I think I'd want it nice and strong. All right, needle 4. Once again, we are going to be increasing, so we're going to increase on the second to the last stitch. I am surprised Kiwi is being quiet. He usually gets pretty noisy when I'm talking. But I sat with him for an hour or so and kind of let him get all the energy out. And then I gave him some food, so that's why he was eating. Gave him some fresh food. Alright, second to the last. We're going to do our increase. And if you prefer, you know, I mean, the increases, if you prefer just to count how many times you've increased, if you had 16 on each stitch, you need to go to 28. Obviously, just do the math. That's 12 increases, so which is actually 24 rounds. To me, I just like to keep going until it looks like I've done enough, and then I start counting the stitches. So I know I've done 3 increases, which is not near enough, but I just sit there and count. I should have 18, because 5 plus 3. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So I need 10 more increases, which is really 20 more rounds. But once again, I'm just going to leave it at that. If you guys need help, just keep rewatching this video. You can actually kind of see our little increases here. I actually usually, by this point, I flatten it this way. I reverse the look of it. And this needle will like start going like this. It's kind of funny. And you can kind of see that it's already doing that because it's not laying it super flat. It's actually kind of starting to tilt that way because of those increases. And I actually like the look of those increases. It's kind of funny. You have this nice little, and then also curve. So what's going to happen is once this gets bigger, this is going to spread out like this, and then we're going to create our heel, and our heel is going to kind of bring it back in, and then we're going to make the rest of the foot. It totally makes sense, and it's an amazing process. So just you know, bear with me and just continue on with the instructions, and I will see you guys once you have 28 stitches on each of the back needles. Okay? All right. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later. Bye.